Well, that was weird. I didn't get a bite, but I started reeling in. There's a fish on the end. And we know what it is, don't we? A perch. Oh, a little diddly perch. Well, at least we broke the duck. I think it must have gone for it as I started reeling in, you know, because I didn't get a bite at all. And it's hooked literally just in the edge of the lip. So our first fish, folks. There we go. And I think the rain may have eased off, which is good news. Good morning, folks. Well, I'm off to a different stretch of the river today that I've never fished before. It's on the Houghton Wyton and Hemingford ticket, but it's a stretch, as I say, that I haven't actually fished previously. Let's get all this traffic through. There's all potholes on the left, so I'm not going to go through those. Yeah, it's not actually that far from Houghton, the mill at Houghton, but you have to go around the world a bit to get to it. It's in a village, or I think you call it a village, Hemingford Abbots, which is just down the end of this road. After the sort of disaster of the trout stream last week, I came down here on Monday to have a look before I decided to come here today, and it's a backwater of the River Great Ouse, and the water level is certainly a lot better than it was where I was on the trout stream. There are a number of sort of backwaters and channels all around the Hemingford area, and a lot of it's controlled by the club. But some of them are quite difficult to get to without doing an awful lot of walking. But fortunately, this one, there's a little lane down here where I was able to park on Monday, so I'm hoping I'll be able to park today. And it puts you fairly close to the river. It's a very quaint little place, by the way. Chocolate box cottages. Right, there's our little road here. Okay folks, we're here. This is referred to locally as the Bailey Bridge, which it looks a little bit like a Bailey Bridge, but on the maps it's referred to as the Black Bridge, so it's a bit odd really. But anyway, we're going to fish down to the left here. As I say, it's a backwater, but it's a fairly significant channel, which is a bit different to what I usually fish. I usually look for little streams, so we'll see how we go. As I say, I came down here on Monday and I walked around this meadow to the left, walked all the way around, and the channel sort of splits quite a way further down. There's a weir, but you can't actually fish the weir pool, it's all fenced off for safety reasons. So we'll see how we get on. It's also the club's waters down there to the right. It's all a bit disconcerting because everything says private property, but as you will see in a minute, this bank where I'm going to fish is all pegged out, as I think the club uses it for a match venue. So I'm in the right place. More gates, every week is a gate. Quite an easy one, this one, compared to the struggles I've had recently. Yeah, there's about 17 or 18 pegs marked out along this bank down here, and there's a couple of them that looked quite inviting. In places it looks actually shallowish, but in other places it seems to be quite deep. So we'll see. More walking, folks, but not as much walking this week as last week. It's the thing with river fishing. You usually have to walk. None of this driving up and parking next to the swim. Although you can in some places, I think. Actually, there was a car parked when I parked, and it looks like there may be someone fishing up there, which is quite remarkable. It looks about where I was going to fish as well, so that's not so good. You can see all the peg numbers. We're up number 8 now. Yeah, I should assume the car was a fisherman, shouldn't I? Never thought of that. There was no one here on Monday. I walked the whole meadow and there's not a sign of anyone. There's the occasional platform. This might not be a bad spot actually. It's number 10. I was thinking of popping in 11, which may not be quite as easy to fish. The only reason I thought 11 because it had a few reeds and things, a few features. Yeah, this is 11. Right, folks. I've got my John Wilson Avon quiver again, which I had on the trout stream. It's actually a 1.5 ounce fiberglass quiver tip, so it's reasonably sensitive. Same reel. I've had these for years. These Shimano 5000 reels. A bit heavy really for this sort of fishing. I could do with a sort of 3000 model really, but I bought a couple of them years ago, so obviously I carry on using them. Okay, at the business end, I've got a little sort of bead flying up and down there with a float stop, nylon type stop, a little maggot feeder. I'm not sure, I think that's 20 grams. I've actually got a 6 pound line on the main line, but this is a 3.8 pound suplex hook length that I've tied myself to a 14 eider hook, so that's what we're doing. As I say, I haven't cast yet. It may well be we'll cast and we'll be straight into weed or something, but we'll see. All else fails, I'll go up and chat to chap up there who may have more experience of this section and offer me a few tips. But at the moment I'm just going to suck it and see. Let's put some maggots on. Should have bought a few more maggots really. I never buy a lot because I end up throwing them away in the end. Let's take the bait runner off to get the maggot feeder down a bit nearer me. I won't put a lot in here, just a few. We'll see what happens. Oops, maggots falling out already. Well, the hook's caught in my trousers, which never helps. Well, we'll just plonk it out now and see what we get, shall we? Can't really get a rod rest in, so just resting the rod on the bag at the moment. I don't know if I'm caught in some weed there, but it's certainly pulled tight, hasn't it? Yeah, I'm tight in weed already. This is not a good start, is it, folks? I think I'll lose everything here, and I haven't even started yet. Oh, Jesus. And it's raining. Oh, this is really jam solid. No, I think I've lost everything, folks. Well, folks, that was an unqualified disaster, wasn't it? First cast. There's obviously a ton of weed down there. Ah dear. Lost me maggot feeder. Well, lost everything really. And it obviously got snagged above the maggot feeder, or the maggot feeder itself got snagged because I had a weaker hook length on, which would have broken if it had been the hook, but it wasn't. So I've decided, in the interest of not costing me too much, I've just dropped down to a single shot and some maggots on and see what happens. But, maybe fishing this is not as easy as it looks. I've got a wet bum because my seat's soaking wet. Oh, I need to bring my bag down, don't I, to rest the rod on. Let's just rest it here, shall we? For the time being, see what happens. See if we get any bites. Well, I just had my first bite, which is encouraging, but I really need to sort this rod out. Can't get a rod rest in, that's the trouble. There's no way of getting a rod rest in. Perhaps just hold it like this. Yeah, that was a very expensive start, folks. Well, I say very expensive. I've had those maggot feeders for years. Hardly ever use them. I've got more. I've got a couple more. I'm not going to risk it. Don't mind losing a shot and a hook, but oh, missed that one. I was watching that wasp. Anyway, we're getting knocks. short touch on the rod top then, with probably little ones. Perhaps a float would have been a better bet here. Something was pulling at it, but we didn't get it. Yeah, I think it's just little fish sucking at the maggots. Let's try a worm. Maybe some perch down there. I can stop just for a moment. Well, that was weird. I didn't get a bite, but I started reeling in. There's a fish on the end, and we know what it is, don't we? A perch. Oh, a little diddly perch. Well, at least we broke the duck. I think it must have gone for it as I started reeling in, you know, because I didn't get a bite at all, and it's hooked literally just in the edge of the lip. So our first fish, folks. There we go. And I think the rain may have eased off, which is good news. Well, the good news is that there's some blue sky behind me, so I think the rain may have gone. I just cast in a minute ago, and as soon as I put the rod down, it pulled right round, and I wasn't ready for it. Get these megas out of the way. There's another pull. Come on, take it properly. Nah, I'm not hooking them, am I? Oh shit, those bloody reeds. Get ready for it next time. Something's having a go here. Let's hold the rod this time. Are we ready? See, you hold the rod and they don't bite. You lay it down and they bite. Right, got it that time, folks. Let's see what these things are. It's probably another perch, actually. Yeah. Oh. Unfortunately, he's taking it right down this time. Well, I'd cast out, there was a little bit of worm left, but not much, and I'd cast out about 4 or 5 maggots on the hook, and that's what's come back. There's obviously small fish down there, they're just picking the maggots off the hook. Right, let's try our worm again, shall we? At least that seems to attract the perch. Put the maggot on. Try to keep the worm on if I can. Yeah. Must be cloth gone. Yeah, it's taking it on the way in again, I think. Either that or it was on the hook and I didn't realise it was on the hook. Well, it's off the hook now, so. Yeah. Well, I just got a tangle in the line and it knotted itself. And it is just unbelievable. I think it may have damaged the line as well, so I think I'm going to have to lose the end bit of the line. What a pain. Yeah, it's just unbelievable. Right, let's move this up to here. Yeah, I think it's damaged the line trying to get it undone. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'll be back when I've sorted all that out. It's taken me about a quarter of an hour to get to this point, and now I've still got to re-tackle the end of the line. Well, folks, it's midday. Sort of mixture of sun and cloud at the moment. But I'm not even getting the occasional bites I was getting earlier now, so we're sort of going downhill a bit, really. Yeah. So I'm not sure this is going to be a greatly successful session today. As I say, I knew nothing about it really. It's one of the stretches on the ticket, and as I say, it's pegged out for matches. It's got a nice steady float. Perhaps a float would have been a better bet. I suppose I could try putting a float on. I haven't actually got the rod for it, but can't be any worse than what I'm doing now, could it, really? And that could have been a bite. As I say, I didn't go down. I should have gone down and had a chat really. I saw a guy down there. He was definitely, I'm sure he was fishing. He had a sort of fishing chair down there and everything. I should have gone down and had a chat, but as I say, when I went to stretch my legs a bit later, he had gone. So he didn't stay long. I got here very early. But this is very, very slow. I don't know whether to try and chance a maggot feeder again after the disaster of the first one. Strangely enough, I haven't been snagged since I've just gone over to a simple shot. It's weird. First cast with the maggot feeder, I lost everything. I think, as I say, having walked along and had a look in some other spots, what is fairly typical of this river actually, there were beds of cabbages near the bank. I think what I probably cast into down there was a sunken cabbage patch, and yeah, that's what sort of did for me, I think. Yeah, big fat juicy worm. I had a good bite then and struck, but I think I've just stuck into a snag. Thought it was a good fish, but I don't think it is. It's just a snag. Oh well, here we go again, folks. I think if I lose everything again, I may call it a day, you know. Jesus, there's a big snag down there, isn't there? That's unbelievable. Well, the hook's straightened, and I've lost a shot. Well, I've retackled, folks. I've gone from a 14 to a 12 hook. Yeah, there's some almighty snag down there. Absolutely solid. I think it must be a tree trunk or something. You know? When you get stuck in it, you're stuck in it. So it doesn't give. Right, ready to go again. I was tempted to actually pack up at that point. Still lots of tackle gone and not a lot to show for it. Still, weather's looking a bit better now. Right, I'll be back when I'm set up. Well, I think I'm going to call time on this soon. I'm not getting many bites. I weren't getting a lot to start with. I was getting a few, but it's I don't know. Perhaps I'm just not fishing it the way it should be fished, possibly. Perhaps float fishing with a pole would work. But certainly it may work better if I hadn't, if I continued using a maggot feeder, but having lost it on the first cast and also having lost I didn't lose a hook, but I straightened the hook on a snag subsequently. It just seemed a bit too risky, to be honest. Well, I didn't have the camera on, so you missed it. But that was quite amazing. I just brought the bait in, and I was trying to clear some sort of fibrous weed off the hook, and the bloody cormorant just came out the water, literally 10 feet in front of me. I don't know where it went in the water. I didn't see it go in. but it actually came out the water and took off right in front of me. So I think that's probably a good a sign as any to really call it a day, don't you? We've got cormorants swimming around here. Jesus. Yeah, I've never seen one so close up. It was literally rod lengths out. So it must have entered the water some way away and been swimming underneath it. I didn't hear it go in. Yeah, so folks, I think that's a sort of cue really. It's not really, I don't think cormorant, oops, I dropped the worm in my bag now. I don't think cormorant or no cormorant I was going to do very good, to be honest, but yeah. Oh yeah, oh well, not quite a blank, but hardly a roaring success. But there we go, you got to try, haven't you? It's been peaceful enough. A few dog walkers, and that's about it really. So I'm just going to tackle down and I'll say goodbye before I make my way back to the car. So there we go. Well, that's it folks, not quite a blank but almost, yeah. After the disappointment of last week at the trout stream, this wasn't a lot better, was it? It didn't start off very well, losing everything on the first cast. I'm going to say that was a pretty disastrous start, and then it started drizzling, and I hadn't expected rain. I luckily had a coat in the bag, but yeah, so yeah, not a good start. I got sort of bites throughout the period, but I couldn't hit them really. A couple of perch was all I managed, small perch. Yeah, so and then the ending was quite sort of spectacular, with a cormorant sort of emerging from the depths right in front of me. Yeah, oh dear. Anyway, yeah, well, thanks for watching. Sorry, not too many fish again, well, hardly any fish again, but that's it really. You have to try these places, don't you? As I say, I probably just wasn't fishing it the way it should be fished. I don't know, but anyway. That's it, we didn't catch much. So yeah, yeah, as I say, thanks for watching, and thank you for the subscribers and for the likes and the comments and all those things, you know. Yeah, I don't know what to do next, to be honest. I'm really struggling on the rivers. I keep saying perhaps I'll go back to a still water, and then I think no, I should stick it out on the rivers, but I'm really struggling, to be honest. Not getting much more rain. We had rain before my last session, but we haven't had much since, and not much forecast this week either, so yeah, it's all pretty desperate really. So I'll sort of scratch my head and think about it where I'm going to go next time. Anyway, and until then, thanks as I say, and bye for now. Cheers.